Flora's got power, Florabella stands tall. Every drip, every drop, watch the haters fall. Channel sharp as thorns, ain't taking no mess. Scroll through her feet, feel that queen's finesse. Vines tangle tight, but Flora breaks free. Roots so deep, can't mess with her tree. From the mud she rises, roses from the dirt. Every comment section she lays down hurt. Flora's anthem, blooming under pressure. Resilient, resolving, no lesser. Florabella's reign strong and relentless. Beauty in battle, queen sure defenseless. From the garden green to the concrete wall, Florabella, unstoppable nature's child. Leaves whisper secrets, she's the loudest shout. From the channel buzzing, she never backs out. Seed of strength, through seasons she grows. In the face of doubt, her spirit glows. Cameras ain't a limit, she branches out. Thorns in her crown, she wears it no doubt. Flora's anthem, blooming under pressure. Resilient, resolving, no lesser. Florabella's reign strong and relentless. Beauty in battle, queen sure defenseless. Flora's anthem, blooming under pressure. Resilient, resolving, no lesser. Florabella's reign strong and relentless. Beauty in battle, queen sure defenseless.
Florabella on my screen, her smile it shines so bright. She's a queen with every scene, in the morning or the night. Recipes and good vibes flow, every video a gem. Her confidence it grows and grows, we're inspired like her friends. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows, she's where we all belong. With every like and every share, we feel her energy. No storm too strong, she can't bear. She's setting us all free. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Recipes and good vibes flow, every video a gem. Her confidence it grows and grows, we're inspired like her friends. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows, she's where we all belong. Every share, we feel her energy. No storm too strong, she can't bear. She's setting us all free. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows, she's where we all belong. Florabella on my screen, her smile it shines so bright. She's a queen with every
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to my show. Welcome to my channel. If you haven't got the opportunity to like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, if you guys can go ahead and do that for me now, I would greatly appreciate it. But otherwise, welcome to my show. I know it's a little late. It's a little late, right? Most people aren't up this late, and if they are, it's all about effery and shit like that. And ooh, damn, I didn't make it to 7 minutes. My bad, y'all. But trying to cut down on the cussing, to keep these streams sort of um, at a good level is what I should say. I don't know. I don't know how else to say it. If those of you, those poor small amount of folks who are here with me as I struggle stream, if you guys could let me know if you can hear me well, if my volume is good. I did sort of move around my mic a little bit because I'm trying to sort of figure out the best angling and stuff like that. For streaming and stuff. So if you guys could let me know, I'll greatly appreciate it. But the conversation that I want to have today, I'm just going to start by saying this too, right? I notoriously people say that the live streams that I do are sort of in some ways like a passive aggressive way of addressing things. And I just want to make sure that people don't think anything about what I'm doing is passive, right? If the shoe fits, then you're going to wear it. You're going to hear these words and you're going to feel attacked. You're going to feel like somebody's dragging you. You're going to feel like, oh, look at this, she's subbing me. If you think that, yes, I want all the smoke, but not in that way, more so that I want to make sure people know that there are lessons in everyday life. Like a lot of times we get to a certain age and we start to think, well, I don't have nothing to learn anymore. I know it all. I'm best and brightest of the bunch, right? Best and brightest of the bunch, popular cats. What's going on? Exclusive reactions. I think this is Taz's page. What's going on? But people start to believe that they are above growth, above reproach, that people can't call them on their shitty behavior. And I disagree. I disagree wholeheartedly. I think that when we learn lessons and we recognize things, that we have a responsibility to share what it is that we're learning. And so I learned about envy a long time ago, but I always get surprised in adulthood when I see people behaving in certain ways. Because, for me, this has always been, I'm not saying that I'm the smartest person ever, but I'm going to say this. I'm going to say that I personally have experience with people who are extremely envious. I have also been envious at some point in my life. I could be 100% real about that. I'm not going to say I'm above people, I'm perfect, but this is something that I learned to stop doing, that I learned to recognize in people around me because I realized that it caused me a lot of harm. And so I feel like it's a good message to share out there, right? Envy is a powerful emotion, right? So I say, right, maybe the psychologists and all those researchers and things, maybe they won't say that, right? Because I do like to go into data and stuff. People think it's boring, but I'm going to go into data. And I'm going to say that I think most people don't recognize how powerful of an emotion envy is. And I think that makes it almost a form of love. I think it's very similar to infatuation. But the problem is you want what they have for yourself. And so that's where it becomes bad and destructive and sort of messy. Let me say hi to some more people that stepped in here. We have Miss Black Beauty. And again, we have exclusive reactions. We have Lana Love. Thank you very much, guys, for being here with me tonight to do sort of a messy topic, right? But not really messy in any direct way other than like we have to learn lessons sometimes. Sometimes we learn things and we move along. And sometimes we learn things and we want to say, hey, hello. And just make sure people understand that it's difficult dealing with this type of person, but I'm going to get into it in a second. Let me just put some background fluff because it sounds very quiet in here. And I know that sound is going to echo. So let me just do something with my sound for a second. And then talk to someone else because I can't talk to just to give you guys a little bit of background noise, right? So I think envy is a form of love. It's a way that you appreciate somebody that you, in some way, like, okay, so let's look up the definition of love. I want to just kind of explain my thinking with that. An intense feeling of deep affection. Okay, so whatever it is that you're experiencing towards somebody that you have envy for, it's a strong emotion. It's very powerful, and I want to share just like because AI nowadays just pulls up a bunch of definitions. I want you guys to know I'm not just pulling this out of the thin air, but that's the first definition that comes up here: an intense feeling of deep affection. For you to want something that somebody else possesses for yourself, that's a deep, powerful feeling. That's very intense, right? That's a very intense feeling to have, to be like, damn, I want what this person has. One, because you can't really have what other people have. I mean, you could try to take it, you could try to mimic it, but what it is that person has is literally just them. That's unique to them. It's a culmination of their life experiences, of the things that they've gone through, etc. Oh, Jordan, why are you putting bag chaser stuff in here? I'm gonna respectfully delete that. Okay, because I'm like, why are y'all putting that stuff in here? Hey, Miss Jalen, you distracted the hell out of me. Don't be putting no back chaser stuff in here. A great interest and pleasure in something, a person or thing that one loves, right? And when we get into the definition of envy and exactly what it is, sorry, you guys, y'all were like right in my face. But once we go into the definition, oh, you had it on copy and paste. That's all right. I understand. That's how that happens. That happens. Thank you for supporting the show, nonetheless. But it's just one of those things that somebody else. Anyways, we're gonna get into the definition of envy. But I just wanted to explain sort of where I was coming from with this idea. I hope my sound is not being overkilled by the music. Okay. All right. So this is the presentation we're about to get into. And I said here that comparison is the thief of joy. All right. I say this because a lot of the times when people feel deep feelings of envy, when they're jealous of other people, when they want what other people have, they're not satisfied with what it is that they have. And it's because they're holding themselves up to other people. They're like, well, she got a man, she got a car, she got a baby, she got a house. She must be better than me because those are all the things that I want and I don't have them. Right? It's so simplistic to thinking. But literally, you cannot be happy in what you have and what you can accomplish if you are literally just sitting here super sad about what you have because you're scrolling through social media and you can see what everybody else has. And you recognize a deficiency and you're looking at yourself like, am I missing something? Because you want everything that person has, but the results, right? The results aren't there. It's there for this person, right? You might even say, well, we're the same age. We have the same education level. You all might even go as far as saying we're as pretty as each other. Why does she have everything I don't have? Right? It'll be that simplistic. And it steals your joy, really, like literally. It steals your ability to live life in the moment, to appreciate your experiences. Because again, your experiences are a culmination of all the choices that you've made throughout your life. Every yes, no, maybe, let's go here, let's not go there, let's do this, let's not do that. Every little thing like that has brought you to where you are. And there's no way that you can mimic what somebody else is producing because you guys aren't at the same, everyone's running their own race. But people who are envious and who feel envy, they don't realize that. They hold themselves up in judgment in comparison to people that aren't in the same, they're not even in the same universe as them, right? They're experiencing life completely differently. Yet you are comparing what you've accomplished to somebody else's experiences. So it's definitely a thief of joy. Ooh, oh Lord. Why is Canva being silly like that? Okay. So envy. Let's define what it actually means. And so here I broke down the noun and two verbs. So the first noun, I guess, is just, sort of what you see mostly when you look it up. And then the verb is like a secondary definition. So let's take it for what it is, right? So a noun is a feeling of discontented or resentful longing aroused by someone else's possessions, qualities, or luck. Now that's corny. 111. That's very corny. I don't watch that bald headed. No, I'm just kidding. I watch chaotic, but why would I be jealous? I bet you're jealous because you are just a nothing ass bandit. I think that might be why you're jealous. So, anyways, yes. So a feeling of discontented or resentful longing aroused by someone else's possessions, qualities, or luck. So because somebody else is in possession of something that you want, you're not satisfied. You're not satisfied with what you have, with what you've accomplished, with your results. You're comparing your results to the results of somebody who's running a whole different race. All right, so then we have two verbs here. So the first verb is desire to have a quality, possession, or other desirable attribute belonging to someone else. Okay, somebody else they got it going on. And because of that, because they have that one trait that you don't have, it's eating you up inside. You really, really, really want to be like that. You really, really want to have that. Right? Let's say the normal thing that they expect women to want to have. Women want the house, the car, the baby, the husband. Right? I want money. But they're leading women to believe that's what they want. And so a lot of women buy into those beliefs. And what do they start doing? They want the house, the car, the baby, the marriage, everything. They want to be able to compare themselves to other women and hold themselves above them and be like, well, I have what you don't have. I have a husband, a house, a car, a ring, and I'm doing it, right? That's what they want you to believe. They want you to believe truly that that's what women want. And other women don't like each other. They're envious of each other because they possess those things. Lana says, I used to have those feelings. I had serious regrets and I felt left behind. I wanted to finish school fast and I got depressed because it didn't work out. And I had a baby. I was being silly. Exactly. And sometimes things will happen in your life. For example, having a baby or getting married or moving here or there. And it'll put you off and you'll start to think, well, oh, damn. All my peers, everyone I grew up with, they're accomplished, they're solidified, they have a career, they have a family, kids, they're living the best life, but we don't know what's happening underneath, right? But in our heads, damn, if I would have just not had that baby at that time and got the career, it can cause you to feel envy for other people too. It can cause you to be like, damn, lucky son of a bee. She was able to wait a little bit, build herself up. I had to stop. Those type of things that crawl into our minds. A lot of them are beliefs that are fed to us from society. Now, that's how I feel. I'm no feminist, right? Because regardless of what can be said by some of the things I say, I'm not a feminist. I can't identify with all the ideology. There's some things that I do think are inherently nature, but I do also think those things are powerful, right? Like, you might think, oh, a woman giving birth to a baby, whatever. That's what we're told by the establishment to do. No, that's what our bodies literally prepare all our entire lives to do, right? So I have different beliefs in some ways, but I definitely feel like a lot of what's being fed to us is ridiculous, right? Hey, I haven't had the baby, bought the house, and succeeded in my career. I'm not Superwoman. Those are beliefs and things that can cause us to feel extremely envious. Especially of other women, and really it's not a true feeling, right? But it's something that is fed to us from society. So that's why I try to say, people think when you're having these conversations that you're just trying to point the finger and say you're envious, you're envious, you're envious. And while the shoe might absolutely fit, right, the people that are feeling the finger pointing at them, right, they're definitely envious. But sometimes it's more lackadaisical than that, right? It's more just comparing yourself to others, right? Trying to hold yourself up to your peers, even. Because you might be a younger woman and be thinking, wow, all the other women my age are solidified in their careers. They got free time, money, right? But in reality, the way things played out for you were exactly what they were supposed to be, right? It was your plan, your path, and that's what you. Otherwise, if you didn't look around, like for example on social media or with society standards, and think, well, I'm not doing what other girls have done, other women have done. Am I not there? A lot of times that envy wouldn't even be there. So in some ways, I feel like society encourages us to be envious of others, right? That's what social media is. It's sort of being braggadocious about what you have, who you have to spend time with, your possessions, all of that. All right, so I'm gonna pull up this whole thing here because I really liked. Oh, okay. I'm over here trying to open this link, but I really liked the whole AI summary. So unfortunately, it might be time for us to say goodbye to writing things yourself when you could just ask AI to write it, right? They should get rid of presentations altogether. Um, hey, Robin. What is going on? How you doing tonight? I know it's late, but at the same time, some of us just be up. I like the late night crew. I like being up nice and late. Hitting the ass crack of dawn. I'm not gonna be able to do that so frequently next week, but I'm definitely gonna do it sometimes. Maybe come home and take a nap, and then do a night show, and then wake up in the morning. Maybe nothing too late in the day. All right, so I like the AI chat summary because they didn't just pull up Google's, one-dimensional direct, definition of something. They actually pull up what all the scholarly articles have said and put it together for you in sort of like a short abstract. So in some ways, I am advocating for AI. I'll say that. But so pretty much it says, according to scholarly articles, envy is a negative emotion that arises when an individual desires something another person possesses, whether it be material or abstract. Right? So it doesn't even have to be a thing. It can be a quality. It can be a physical feature, right? It can be a personality. Um, It could be an eye color. Literally, doesn't have to be a material thing. Anything about somebody can cause you to feel envy, right? Anything it is, maybe something that they feel like you possess and they don't, or they can never possess it. right? And it feels a sense of pain or resentment due to the perceived lack in comparison, right? In comparison to the other person. And the second part of this definition, I'm actually going to go into it in a few slides, right? And this is where we talk about two types of envy. So let me pull up the PowerPoint really quickly. Where's the PowerPoint? Because we are going to like sort of break it down in this general way, but I want to make sure, you know what, let's just finish this for a second. Because pretty much what I'm going to go into, it's all woven into the definition of envy anyway. So, and feels a sense of perceived lack in comparison to the other person, often motivating them to either improve their own situation, right? So either envy is going to motivate you to do better, to be better, right? Sometimes this is where I talk about envy as being a multi-dimensional feeling, right? A multi-dimensional emotion, because it can either motivate you to improve, right? So you see a bunch of rich people around you, and that motivates you to go out there and make money, learn how to earn a lot of money. That's a positive way to express envy, right? It might not lead to overall happiness, because I feel like if you're always seeking what other people's have, you're never going to be satisfied. But I do in some ways believe that envy is just, in some ways there can be things that you can learn from it. So it's not all bad, right? You can choose to, say, you know what, I'm gonna, even though I'm feeling super envious of, this girl who has a family, kids, house, husband, right? Everything we're told in society. I'm happy for her. She's got it going on. Let me get in the mind state where I'm ready for marriage, right? Because a lot of times we think we're ready for stuff and we're really not, right? But let me get in the mindset where I'm ready for marriage. I want to have a baby, and yada, yada, yada. Because even though I want all those things, I want to do it the right way. So I'm not going to rush, right? And sometimes your envy can check you. It can be like, hey, you're going to be a hater? You're going to be mad because she got it? Or are you going to go get it as well? Right? So it's positive in some ways. It's not all bad. I'm not going to say it's positive in enough ways to encourage people to be envious, because I think if you can't get a hold of the emotion, then, it's always going to be detrimental to you. But in some ways it can be positive. But it'll either motivate you to improve your situation or attempt to diminish the other person's advantage. This emotion is typically considered social, as it stems from comparison with another individual. So you're looking around at all the people in your, for example, let's say your graduating class. They're all doing well. They have offers for, whatever, Fortune 500 companies. And you're going to be a, what can I say, a brand manager at a local firm, right? Seeing people with those offers and beautiful things, that might encourage you to go out there and get it going, right? Fix your resume, go to a career center, apply to more jobs, reach for the stars, and you know what, you might just catch one day, right? So you're really thinking that when you accepted the supervisor job at a local firm, you were thinking, well, it's a job. It's a job. But instead you go out there and you're like, no, let me put myself out there. I'm smarter than I think I am. I'm more interesting than I think I am. I have better qualities than I think I do. And so that encourages you to apply to more jobs. Maybe jobs you thought you couldn't get, and boom, you get one. Right? So it can definitely be a positive emotion. It's a social emotion that's not entirely negative. But the key points, again, social comparison. So you're never satisfied with what you have because you're always looking at other people. You're always looking at what the next woman got, what the next man has if you're a bandit. But it's never enough. It's a painful emotion, right? Because it can cause feelings of resentment, frustration, and a sense of inadequacy. But if it causes you to snap and do better, I don't think that's necessarily negative. But most of it is negative because it's uncomfortable. When you resent somebody, you really don't have any positive feelings towards them. It can make you really, really uncomfortable. So I would say it's mostly negative. But again, there's a motivation to act. So either you're going to work towards becoming, achieving all the things that society tells you that you should achieve as a woman, or you're going to try and break other people down who have it. Maybe you try to sabotage the newly married woman's marriage. Maybe you try to create doubt, make the man think it's not his baby. Maybe tell the groom that his wife's a whore. Right? This is what envious people will do. They will go to great lengths, especially if they're the envious kind that aren't willing to level up. For example, let's say that they're jealous of somebody because they're in shape and they're beautiful. Instead of trying to level up their looks or lose some weight, they're going to say, no, look at that ugly bra. She's ugly. She sucks. Her hair's ratchet. Her ass stinks. She ain't nothing. They'd rather do that than pick their fat, sloppy behind up and go to the gym. Right? Because it's easier. It's better. It feels better for them to call somebody a bald-headed scallywag. Right? Or say that she ain't nothing. She's never gonna be nothing. She don't got no man. She ain't fire like you. She's a bird. She's a hoe. She's a skank. Her pussy stank. They're gonna say whatever that they need to say because that is easier than getting off of their fat, sloppy behind, going to the gym, putting in work, losing weight the slow way so it stays off. Right? No Ozempic, no BBLs, no tummy tucks. And, this is not to go against people who get any type of surgery. Sometimes you need assistance, and there's nothing wrong with that. But instead of them getting up and doing what they need to do, they're going to call you bald-headed, ugly, stanky, hoe, bird, anything. They'll call you any name because it's easier to paint you out to be a bad, stanky, pussy person than for them to go to the gym, than for them to level up their looks, right? Maybe work on taking a bath before they live stream, or I'm sorry, washing their kitty cat, or going to the gym. It's easier to talk down on somebody than it is to do what you need to do to improve yourself so that you can deal with those painful emotions. I mean, I'm not gaslighting here. If an emotion about somebody else makes you uncomfortable, you should be working on yourself. But what a lot of these people will do is fix their filthy, frothy lips to talk about other people, to say mean things, to make fun of people, to lie on people all out, like full out lie. It's easier. It's easier than dealing with the fact that something about them makes them uncomfortable. Something about them is not satisfactory. And so because of that, they have to either punch down on somebody else or they have to improve themselves. Let me say hello here. Hey, Miss Mel. What's going on? How are you doing today? We have Willie Perch. He says, "Yep, you are right." Yeah, and this is not me just trying to be like funny and rude. It's so much easier to come at the next woman's looks, to make fun of her experiences, to make dozens and dozens of videos trying to dox people and roast them and blow them out, whatever it is you feel like you're doing on here. I don't even know what blow them out means. But these people will say anything because it's easier, right? It's easier to talk about the next woman than it is to deal with the fact that you're not happy with what you've accomplished, right? You might not be comfortable with who you are, right? Maybe you're not where you want to be in life. And you rather come at the next woman. The woman might have not even done nothing to you. The woman might be minding her business. Maybe she called you bald headed. Maybe she said your man got his ass beat. Whatever. But people take things way, way far. And a lot of the times their fixation is admiration. Envy is a very, very uncomfortable, it's an uncomfortable feeling. Right? Because you're really admiring somebody, wanting to be them or do what they're doing or be in their position so badly that it hurts. It's gonna be tough. And I felt it before. I felt envy before. And I hated the feeling. I hated it. I expelled it. And sometimes I have to catch myself. Right? Especially, and this is what I say. Sometimes I'll catch myself being envious, and then I'm like, oh no. Hey, it's not dislike. This girl is gorgeous, got it going on, got the money, got the, you know what I'm saying? I have to remind myself, there's a reason, right? There's a reason why maybe I'm uncomfortable, because they've got something, they got it going on. They've really accomplished a lot. Hey, this is a young woman. She's a doctor, right? If I wanted to be a doctor at one point in my life, I might look at a woman who's a doctor and say, my goodness, I can't stand that hoe. And then I have to remind myself, it's not that I can't stand her. She's so funny. She's so pretty. She's intelligent. Sometimes I find myself having to check myself too. Be like, I don't like her ugly ass. Oh yeah, it's because she got all that money, right? Where do I access some of those funds as well? And I have to catch myself all the time. But if you're never real about what it is that you're feeling, right, what you might be projecting onto another person, then you just continue to choose the malicious route, right? Because we're going to go into two different definitions of envy. Which sort of, came about through research, through studying and speaking more about envy as an emotion. Hey, Victor, he says, what's up, my G? What's going on? Jalen says, hey. I'm just saying, because even like a small, like that's like me being mad about somebody who roasted me in 8th grade. Right? Like really, truly getting upset because somebody was roasting you or making fun of you jokingly, in a lighthearted way, and trying to take that so far and use that as an excuse to hate on people and stuff like. I feel like that's a cop out, right? That's a cop out for, I don't know. I feel like you must not get nothing else going on. You know how many times I've been roasted? You know how many times I've done the roasting? I'm not going to turn roasting into some other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Try to act like it's some deep-rooted hatred of me. No, you're just roasting me. I might not like it, but it is what it is. All right, so there's two types of envy. There's benign envy, which is a feeling of longing. Let me read it on the other screen because it's blocked off a little bit over here. But it's a feeling of longing for what someone else has, but without the negative feelings of inadequacy or resentment that come with envy. So this person who's maybe feeling benign envy, maybe they're more so like, damn, I wish I could do that. Damn, I wish I had that. But there's no like harshness of like the feeling inadequate, really not feeling like you're enough. That really sucks. It's a very uncomfortable position to be in where you feel like, damn, nothing I do is enough or interesting enough. Right? Me alone, me doing conversation, me having conversations about my own things, the things that I'm interested in, those things aren't enough. That doesn't draw an audience. I have to be talking about somebody else. I have to be dragging a woman, right? I have to be dragging a bandit, right? It could even go that far. It sucks. Feeling like that's the only purpose that you have, that you're not able to do all the things that it is you want to do. You don't have a lot of range. A lot of times we recognize our faults before other people even see them. But we judge ourselves sometimes like as if everybody can see our faults. Right? I learned in sociology, sorry, I'm combining the words, that there's something called a looking glass self. Right? Where you really start to feel like people can see right into you. They can tell your intentions. They can see when you're feeling envious, sad, angry, happy, like whatever. They can see all of your faults. But in reality, people aren't really, we all got our own life going on. We have our own experiences. We are our own main character. Even if we start to, worry so much about other people, even if we become fangirls, even if we're like super tuned into somebody else's life, we're still we're the main character in our own story. So if you're not focusing on yourself, you're not building yourself up, you are going to start to feel like, yeah, I'm nobody. I don't have nothing going on. Because instead of dealing with you, you're dealing with everybody else. Because you think everybody can see. Oops, sorry, guys. This damn button. You think everybody can see what it is that you feel, what it is that you're experiencing. Maybe they think that, maybe you think that they can see that you're insecure, lonely, that you're feeling less than others. Maybe you have a superiority complex or an inferiority complex. A lot of times people can't see none of that. A lot of times people are going through their own mess of a life or a whirlwind of a life, and they have no idea what you're going through. And then we have malicious envy, right? This is a destructive emotion that involves feelings of anger, resentment, and unfairness towards somebody else's success. Hey, Miss Brownie. She says, Flowski, what is going on? I do have the link down here too, because I am trying to host a more open conversation as well. But yeah, so it's a destructive emotion. You're angry, you're resentful, all those negative things. You feel like it's not fair, like they have an advantage over you. Maybe you feel like you should have been further in life, but because of your maybe financial limitations, maybe your intellectual limitations, maybe you wanted to be a chemist, but you just never really could figure out chemistry, right? Or you wanted to be a doctor, but you just couldn't be a doctor. Instead of feeling like, oh, you know what, I'm going to use this inadequacy or this feeling, instead of being negative, I'm going to channel this into something positive. And yes, I'm longing for what this person has, but I'm going to try and achieve it myself. I'm going to try and seek it out myself. But it becomes malicious, right? Because it can lead to hostile actions, such as trying to damage the other person's status, or pleasure in their misfortune, right? That means you're always sitting around with like, I can just picture that black guy with the camera, gotcha, or gotcha, or whatever the hell it is that he says. Just sitting around waiting for those people that you really are envious of, that you're jealous of, whatever, waiting for something bad to happen, praying, wishing. Right? I believe in the power of the tongue. I believe that some people can wish harm on you. Doesn't mean it's gonna come to fruition always, but I do believe some people can wish harm on you. And they can actually write that in some way, especially if you consume it. This is why I try to stay away from people who I don't like or have a negative feeling towards me, because I don't want them to write nothing on me. I don't want them to put no words on me. It's not from a superstitious place, not from a religious place, it's from a spiritual place. If I can tell myself something and it can come to be, not just because of my words, but because there was action behind it, I do believe in some ways people can put words on you and they can write a story on your life. They can actually make something of your future, just wishing harm on you. So I try to stay away from people who wish me harm. I try to delete those messages in my brain. That's why people would come and say, "Oh, such and such was saying such and such about you. What happened? Oh, they was coming at you. They was dragging you." I'm like, I didn't hear no drag. Ain't no drag happened to me. I didn't hear. Y'all heard that, not me. Ain't nobody dragged me. They dragged your ears. You sat there and listened to it. They dragged you into it, not me. Because I truly believe sometimes people can wish harm on you. And listen, sometimes it be coming true. What's going on, Marlon West? I do have the link in the chat. I put it there because just in case anybody wants to come up here as we're having the discussion. No pressure, but I do want people to feel like it's more open to conversation. At some point I got towards like not wanting people to be like over here trolling and stuff. And as much as I don't want trolling, I think people should be free to like, give their opinions and stuff like that, as long as it's not crossing into no red pill or blue pill, even no pills. Just talk. Have regular conversations. As long as it doesn't spill into anything messy like that, then I'm all here for it. But they're waiting around. They're waiting around for something to go wrong. They're waiting to catch you slipping. Right? This is why you can't really be... If people are all hating on you, why are you listening to them? Why are you coming to see them? I understand sometimes like being like, I'm actually curious, because somebody will sometimes come and tell me, oh, this person said this ridiculous thing. And sometimes I want to hear from the horse's mouth. I be wanting to hear from the horse's mouth, but most of the time I don't consume any hatred towards me. Because they can be trying to wish that shit on you, right? And in a couple weeks, couple months, that shit will come true and you're like, I don't know. They put that out there in the universe. If I can put good things in the universe and they come to be, I believe you can put bad things in the universe and they come to be as well. I definitely believe that. All right, so 2 types of envy. Ooh, so I'm going to pull up the positives of envy, because this is sort of something I did on the back end. Because again, I want to make sure we understand that every emotion can have a plus and a negative. Right? There can be something about it that's actually really helpful to you. Maybe it helps to it helps you grow. It helps you to grow. It helps you to be honest with yourself and try to achieve more. Maybe you've been a C average your whole life, and then you finally see that person that you just can't stand, that bald-headed scallywag, and you're like, damn, she got all A's. And instead of you trying to sabotage her or, pretend like she's cheating or something or try to get her in trouble, you go and you get A's too. And you're like, look at me. Look at me. I'm smart too. She ain't nothing. She's just a bald-headed scallywag. And you might it might actually help you. Sometimes I think we can get in a funk too. When we start to envy people, we can get in a funk. Because we're literally comparing ourselves. We're like, damn, she got it going on. You could have it going on too. It just might take some work. All right. So in this one, they talk about benign and malicious envy sort of like interchangeably. So I'm gonna make the words a little bit bigger so you guys can follow along. It's not gonna be. I'm not gonna be reading a whole bunch of it because I do have some videos. Because I know you guys just love listening to me rant all night. But I have some videos, and we're going to listen to the author of 48 Laws of Power, which I haven't read, right? I'm thinking about doing a book club, a members only book club, and seeing if people are interested in maybe reading something. Nothing salacious. I don't want to read Christian Grey or anything like that. But definitely reading some of those like power books, some of the best highly rated like motivational speaking books or whatever, and just sort of see, we'll kind of break it down as a group. So I'm thinking about doing a members only book group. You guys let me know what you're thinking about that. More to come, but I'm gonna read this here and we're gonna sort of get into the topic. I want to make sure you guys can see it though, because I gotta make it massive. All right. So benign and malicious envy are a consequence of an unfavorable upward comparison to another individual, right? So i.e. a negative self-other discrepancy, right? So that other person got what you don't got. You're not on their level, right? Because maybe they have what you want. Benign, malicious envy occurs when people believe that envied individual deserves or does not deserve his or her advantage. Right, so benign being, maybe you believe they deserve it. That malicious being like, damn, they didn't deserve to have all of that. They just woke up rich. That's not fair. I'm sure we can all relate to that. It's not fair that person, was born with a $50 million inheritance. Right, their parents worked for it, but we might think it's not fair. We might see it as unfavorable. So prior research has also shown that benign envy motivates a person to address the self-other discrepancy via self-improvement, whereas malicious envy does not. This research shows that both types of envy, not just benign envy, can motivate self-improvement, provided that the opportunities to do so occur outside the envy eliciting domain, right? So I'm assuming envy eliciting domain is just sort of where and how you're jealous of them, or that could mean a lot of things. That could mean maybe you can't go to the same college as the person, or maybe you have to go move to a different neighborhood, right? Because if you're their neighbor and you just see who they are, see where they're living, you're gonna get upset. Victor says, Flora, keep your eyes open. My eyes aren't closed. My eyes aren't closed. What are you talking about? But not just benign envy can motivate self-improvement. Is it because I'm not acting like a bandit? Victor, I know you guys love to see monkey shows. You love to see dust mites acting a fool. I'm not going to be doing none of that. We're just having a conversation tonight. Now, you're welcome to hit the link. I did put in the chat. I know people are shy because they're used to me just being like, no trolling, no dusty panels, no nakeds. But the link is there. I'm interested in hearing your opinions, right? Because if I can't keep my eyes open, right, then somebody got to spice up the show. Somebody has to come in here kicking up dust, acting a fool, acting a donkey, somebody. So if you'd like to hit the link, it's right there. Otherwise, watch the show and shut your mouth. Okay? All right. So research shows that both can motivate self-improvement, provided that opportunities occur outside the envy eliciting domain. Benign envy increases the accessibility of the belief that effort determines whether people are rewarded. Right? That girl has better than me because she went to school, she studied, she had time to do this, that, and the third. And that's why she's doing better than me. She's not just, it's nothing unfair. If I do those things, I can have that too, right? And so that I can motivate a process focused goal pursuit and the use of products that emphasize effort dependent self improvement. Malicious envy increases the accessibility of the belief that the effort does not determine whether people are rewarded. Hence, it motivates outcome focused goal pursuit and the use of products that emphasize effort independent self improvement. Implications and potential extensions in the areas of envy, self conscious emotions, and goals are discussed. So basically, they're able to find in this research how the different types of envies are motivated, right? How they can really actually, how benign envy is actually, oh, this is the wrong one. How come it opened for me on the other? Sorry, guys. So that was pretty much what I wanted to sort of touch down on for that article. So I'm going to move on to the video. This video is by or with not Dr. Mr. Robert Greene. He's the author of 48 Laws of Power. All right. And this is not to say that I agree with any of his findings or his book or anything, but I did think that his analysis of envy was actually very clarifying. So I'm going to play that video. Let me just adjust my sound and I will share the video.
Is it, I know you're talking about colleagues and team members there, and earlier you said that people are contagious. How important do you think it is to the success of our lives? And I pause there because success means it's a personal thing, it's a professional thing. To surround ourselves with the right group of people and to be intentional about that.
It's very important. I have a chapter in, in the 48 Laws of Power about infection. And I think it's an experience many of us have had where you're around somebody who seems at first glance to be very...
Wait, Victor, why are colored people lost? Because this is not necessarily about that book. Just settle in, okay? It's not about the book. It's about envy in general. He's just there as an expert to speak on it. Don't throw out, you don't got to eat the whole skeleton, right? Eat the meat and throw out the bones. You don't have to take everything. This is why I've allowed myself to be more open about certain things and conversations, because you limit your beliefs and your thinking, right? You limit your ability to operate in some ways in duality where you can understand things by being too, first of all, color struck. Like, you need to get out of Mississippi. Victor, you gotta come somewhere else. The Midwest is not the only place that there are black people. There are other places for Negroes. Okay? You gotta get out of Mississippi. He says, would any of these women date that man with all of his knowledge about the women? What does who you can pull have to do with... Okay, anyways, we're not gonna miss the message, all right? But I just wanted to tell you, buckle in, listen to the message. Don't shoot the messenger. Just listen to the message, take from it what you like, and everything else you throw away. All right, it's not all a Negro white man conversation. So let's go.
Interesting. And they become your friend, maybe. They're very dramatic. And they have all these stories to tell. And they seem almost slightly larger than life. They become your glance.
And to be intentional about that.
It's very important. I have a chapter in, in the 48 Laws of Power about infection. And I think it's an experience many of us have had where you're around somebody who seems at first glance to be very interesting.
Sorry, guys, I was muted. He described the experience as infection. All right, so this is what I thought it like to me that sort of stood out because I do feel, sometimes after I've dealt with certain people, I feel like they infected me. And I don't mean like infected me in the literal sense. Nobody's burning or itching or, leaking green fluid or whatever, booty hole green. None of that. That's not what's going on. It's more so that you feel icky. Like you feel like you gave too much. Maybe you feel like you did too much, especially when it was in vain. And that's what some of these people, right? He's going to be describing envious people. That's how some of these people make you feel. It feels like an infection. All right, let's keep going.
And they become your friend, maybe. They're very dramatic. And they have all these stories to tell. And they seem almost slightly larger than life. And you engage with them. And then you become friends. And then slowly, it becomes clear that they're a little bit nuts, right? They're always talking about how this person screwed them, how that person screwed them, how this boyfriend or girlfriend was so awful and so nasty. You begin to realize, is this true, or is it maybe they are the problem? But now they're your friend, and now you're emotionally attached to them, and now they have room to play all these kind of games on you, and all of their drama starts infecting you. And it's like, God damn it, I want to get away from this person, but I can't. They've infected you with their negative energy, and it gets under your skin. And so you have to avoid people like that. You have to read before you get involved with them that they are a drama queen or a drama king, because there are just as many men out there who have this quality. You have to see
just as many men who have the quality, because they try to act like this is a woman thing, right? That when you deal with women, you got to be worried about drama, mess, lovers' quarrels or whatever. That's something that you deal with women. But it comes from men too, right? The way men behave can be very drama-like. And they will come onto you like an infection. And before you know it, you're dealing with somebody who don't wish you well, right? You're dealing with somebody who has all types of ulterior motives and feelings and resentment and inadequacies in their self before you even know it. But let's continue to hear Mr. Robert Greene.
that they play the victim of everybody else, but actually they kind of bring it onto themselves. Some people are genuinely unfortunate. Bad things have happened to them, and it's not their fault. I'm never saying it's a misconception about that chapter that you should avoid everybody who's unfortunate. There are people, and a lot of people out there, whose circumstances have made them, in their what's going on. It's not their fault, right? But there are other people you have to recognize that the bad things that happen to them are things that they have brought on because they have this infecting power. It comes from a deep insecurity. You don't want them in your life. Being around insecure people will make you insecure. Being around confident people who kind of know what they're doing, who've got their act together, who are trying to make things and accomplish things. Because there's so many people out there who talk and talk and talk, but never do anything. Being around people who do things, who get things done, who've made a business, who've made this, that, or the other, they're gold to be around because they'll infect you with their positive energy.
Frenemies.
Yeah.
Do we all have frenemies, and how do we spot frenemies?
So he just, again, described envy in a positive way, right? Where somebody who's maybe accomplishing something that you want to accomplish, or even just going in an upward direction in life, instead of being jealous or hateful, right? You actually look up to them, right? Helpfully being around them enough, you feel like you will absorb some of that success, some of that upward motion, right? This is where I say, like, there really is a positive aspect to every emotion, I think. Well, not all of them. There's maybe some that don't. Like, anger is good in that if you're angry enough, you'll start to work really hard. You'll exert yourself, right? But anger in general, especially if it's not controlled, can be really harmful to your life. It's painful, it's exhausting, it's tiring, all of that. But sometimes if we want what the people around us have, if we want to be like them, if we admire them, right? Because the discomfort in envy is from the malicious point of view, right? Where you personalize those inadequacies. You even say they don't deserve that, right? I deserve that. I went through all these things in my life. I was born ugly, mean, poor. I deserve to be where that person is. Instead of earning, working for it like you should. Right? That's why some people who are smart, instead of being bad and hating somebody because they're accomplishing things you want to accomplish, you'll align with that person. Hey, let's be friends. I want to know how you're on such an upward motion. And that's not to mean like that you got to be a gold digger, like, oh, I'm going to be friends with rich girls because I want to be rich. No, you just want to be in proximity to richness, right? In some ways, it's very self-absorbed and sort of like materialistic. There are definitely people who will try to mask that. But some people want to be around successful businesswomen, right? Because they want to have a successful business one day. If they're malicious, what are they going to do? I'm going to steal your business idea. I'm going to do the exact same type of business using everything you taught me. I'm going to even try to mimic what you got going on. But there's a positive to envy as well. So it's not all bad. And even if you're feeling envy today, if you're looking at somebody else's life and you're like, damn, I want what they have. Go get it. Seek it. You're bigger than her? Go work out, diet. Hit the gym. Get a BBL, right? And again, I'm not shaming anybody who does that. You want to snatch waist? Go get some liposuction. You have the power to act. You don't have to resent people and treat them poorly. You want better teeth? Go buy them. Best believe when I can afford it, I'm going to go buy some teeth. Y'all think I'm playing. I can survive with my current smile, but I get some money. First thing I'm going to do is buy some teeth. Y'all know I'm buying some teeth. It doesn't have to be a negative thing. It can be a positive. But a lot of the times, right, in our true lower human nature, where instead of being great, we're jealous of those who are great. We want to be what those people are instead. And so we just throw dirt on their name. Oh, she's homeless. She's bald. She's fat. She ugly. I saw her mama at the soup kitchen. Her man's cheating on her. Her man don't like her. Her pussy stank. Let's go right around. Let's go all around the rosy of all the dusty things that people can put on you instead of be motivated to do better. Maybe even to align with you. I don't know about y'all, but I be at my jobs when I work in the career field of my choice. And I'd be like, yo, she's really top dog in here. I want to be like her. And sometimes it will motivate you to go into work with a little pep in your step, right? Do the job fully. It'll motivate you and you'll see you can actually start to level up a little bit. Maybe you get a promotion. Maybe you get more responsibilities and a little more money an hour. Right? Or you can be a saboteur. I can't stand her ass. She thinks she's the shit. She's always coming in here trying to run people tell them they can't take breaks and smoke weed in the car. Tell you you can't clock in 20 minutes after your break, whatever it is, right? They might sabotage how other employees feel. I've seen it. I've seen people don't like two people in management and they will start tearing up the job. Oh, I heard they're going to do such and such. Oh, y'all see that person we got to do? They will start poisoning everybody around. Have y'all ever worked at a business where there's employees actively sabotaging it while they work there? I've worked in jobs like that where I had to be like, not this bitch telling the customer not to come back here. Y'all remember that meme? The girl at the hair store telling the lady, "Oh, I saw your husband and your daughter." And then when she says, "Daughter, I don't have no kids," and you're just like, literally. It's ridiculous. But let's continue with the video. I sort of went off on a tangent there, but it's literally as simple as that. Sometimes we can choose to go the positive route, or we can go the negative route and throw dirt on people's names instead of level ourselves up. But let's continue. He has some very interesting things. And then the next thing that we're going to watch is actually from a philosopher. So hold on to your hats, guys.
Well, hopefully we all don't have them. But in the laws of human nature and in several of my books, I talk about the phenomenon of envy, which is a very, very powerful human trait. It has roots, very ancient roots. We know that in hunter-gatherer societies from thousands of years ago, envy was a real problem. And so they create all kinds of rituals to avoid envy, where the moment somebody in a tribe received a gift, they had to give it to other members so they wouldn't face envy, because facing envy, you could be murdered for it. So you learned all of these rituals. And we've noticed that chimpanzees feel envy. You give one of the higher up chimps, because they're very hierarchical, a grape, and all of a sudden all the other chimps are very wanting that grape as well, and they feel envy, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's an extremely human emotion. The thing that we don't realize, though, that the people most likely to feel envy, first of all, we all feel envy. We're all comparing ourselves to other people. I feel it all the time. Right now, I envy Brian Holiday because he's, so 30 years younger. He's sold so many books. He's got all this great stuff. I know what envy is like. I feel it. We all feel small degrees of envy. But there are people, I call it passive envy, but active envy means people act on it. They do something to hurt you. They sabotage you in some way. Frenemies.
So again, they act on it. So if the action is internal and you do better in life, it motivates you to get up and maybe get a higher grade, hit the gym harder, right? Call your plastic surgeon, call you whatever if it motivates you to move upwardly, I don't think that's the type of action that he's necessarily referring to. He's referring to action against another person, right? She got 5 million subscribers, so I'm going to tell her subscribers that she is a thief, and she hits her children, or she got her fame from selling drugs, whatever it is that you feel like you can use to sabotage somebody. This is where the action comes in from envy. This is where you act against that person, against their better interests, against their status. That was the best word that I saw used here, or used early in the presentation. Their status. Oh, they're known for being funny and lighthearted on the internet? No. This person is a whatever, a degenerate. Maybe they owe $40,000 on a vehicle that was repossessed. Whatever it might be, they will say it. They will say it. And it's an action against another person. That's what makes envious people dangerous, right? That's what makes them hard to be around. That's what makes them harmful to other people, is the fact that they're willing to act. based off of the negative, painful emotions that they feel towards and regarding other people.
Are the classic scenario. So somebody who feels envious of you ends up befriending you. And consciously, they may not be even aware of that. They think, well, I do want to like them, but unconsciously they feel envy. They think that you have success that you don't necessarily deserve, that you have what they want, right? They become your friend and they charm you, et cetera, et cetera. And then lo and behold, you start noticing all kinds of behavior that's very ugly that you weren't expecting because they're your friend. They start saying bitchy comments that get under your skin, that make you feel insecure. They take things from you. They act in ways that are hurtful. But because they're your friend, your first instinct is to blame yourself. Well, maybe it's my fault that they've done this. Maybe I'm actually to blame for what they're saying, et cetera, et cetera. So I believe behind the frenemies phenomenon is this phenomena of envy, where the person secretly wants what you have and they're becoming your friend so that they can wound you. And what's best to do is,
and that's scary, right? To know that people will go so far as to befriend you because they want to disarm you, they want to take something away from you. You know, this is why I don't believe in necessarily canoodling or doubling back on people that I once had an instinct to get out of my life. Right? I don't necessarily believe that, especially friends. Because friends will fool you though. There's a lot of behavior that I accepted from friends in the past that I'm like, actually, if they behave that way, they can't even really be my friend. There's no way they're my friend and they're behaving like that. They don't like me. They was telling people behind my back such and such. They were sabotaging my relationships by telling, you know, a man or a person that I was interested in something harmful about me, maybe saying, well, she's a whore. Or underneath that wig, she's bald. Right? I had no idea this was happening, but they're doing that. That's scary, you know, and that's partially why as an adult I'm very cautious, you know, because I have had women around me who I really thought they were like good people. I was like, oh shit, like they got it going on. They seem to have like attached to me, like they really wanted to be my friend, always trying to hang out and stuff like that. Oh, sorry y'all. I'm over here kicking the camera and I didn't even know it. But you're over here thinking, wow, this person, they're attached, they want to hang out, they seem friendly. And then the subtle stuff starts happening. Subtly, they start coming at your looks. They start making comments about your body in front of people, maybe. That's one thing I've noticed frenemies will do. There was people that I became friends with that I'm like, looking at them after a while, because at first they were super friendly, always trying to hang out, be in your face, do fun things, be seen out like as friends and like, you know, be your friend and everything. And then now suddenly in front of a group, some strangers, some people you know, some people you're getting to know, they're trying to embarrass you. They're trying to embarrass you. Do y'all know that I went to a college? It was a PWI. And at this PWI, there was an organization. The name of it was a color. And there was like, what, maybe a couple hundred girls on campus that were of color. Maybe a little bit more than that. Not a lot, right? Maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe it was like 400 or something, or 500, maybe even 1,000. But it seemed like such a small percentage of women of color. And so there was this organization that was specifically an organization of women, mainly for women, not for women of color, but that was like the population it was sort of speaking to. And everything was all cool with these friends, right? Everything was all cool until we started socializing and going out. Right, this is before we even do like what's informally known as rush, but not like the Greek rush. It was like a different. It was just like 2 weeks of activities, and at the end of it, they decide if you are going to be part of their organization. Now, me personally, I left the middle of that semester, so I didn't truly finish. I left like more than halfway through, but not that deep in the process. Maybe I think it was maybe like 3 or 4 days, but I had other plans at the time, and I just thought I had it all figured out. But we're a couple days into the process, and now these people, not these people, one particular person in the friend group now wants to make me the butt of the joke all the time. I'm having to like look sideways, and like sometimes people are looking at us and trying to read the dynamic. Maybe they thought we're super close and it was like cool, but I really met these people like in the summer, so we weren't that cool for me to be okay with some of the stuff they were doing. But it was an appointed thing, and I had to stop being friends with some of these people because it literally was outwardly like starting to come across like, okay, do you to me or do you not? Right? Why are you trying to make me the butt of your joke? Right? Why are you trying to embarrass me? Why are you trying to make me look bad in front of particular people? Not in general, but specifically in front of people, in front of guys. You know, what's going on? And I had to step back because these are people that I wouldn't even see it that way at first. Because I'm like, oh, this is friends. I made these friends this summer. We came into the school year still friends, yada yada yada. But I had to see the writing on the wall for what it was, because it was pointed things. They do try to get in to your head, right? Because they know they can't take away the qualities and things that you really have that they want, right? Or maybe they're not even willing to go so far as sabotaging you or like whatever, but they want to get in your head. And it's really dangerous to have a friend like that around you, because they will literally encourage you to always see things in the bad way. And that's how it felt. It felt a lot of times like, damn, I'm like seeing this situation negatively instead of actually understanding that I had a fun time. Like, it was actually really fun, right? I was super lighthearted. I wasn't looking for no husband or nothing. It was just a fun event. But this person was clouding your head to believe, oh, you embarrassed yourself. Oh no, people was looking at you crazy. They was looking at you like you was crazy. Right? It's subtle things, but that's how people sometimes will move to try and get in your head, because they can't take what it is that you have away from you. So they gotta lie on you. They gotta try and get in your head and make you feel bad about yourself. It's really scary having friends like that. And that's partially why I'm still very cautious with friends. I'm still like, I try, but it's a particular type of person that I open up to. It's not just anybody, because I know sometimes people will align themselves with you if they're like this. Kuma says, don't trust anybody. I don't agree with that. I think that some people will show you that that your trust in them is deserved. And some people won't. Some people will show you that they deserve to be trusted. And some people, if you pay close attention, you can see, hey, maybe you shouldn't have trusted that person. Maybe there was red flags. You know, sometimes they're slick, but most of the times the people that you should be trusting, you'll know. You'll have a gut feeling. I have gut feelings. And the times that things don't go right, I usually ignore the gut feeling. That's not to say I'm always right, but I'm just saying, a lot of times when things didn't go right, when things went super left, is because I ignored red flags and feelings like that. So let's continue.
Was to recognize that. And one common sign of a frenemy, of somebody who's befriending you out of envy, is they're in a rush to be your friend. Normally, we like to take it a little bit slow. We just don't let anybody into our lives. We like to vet them a little bit beforehand, right? We don't trust everybody. But the person who feels envy is like, I love you. You're fantastic. I want to be your friend. We got to hang out. Let's go out for dinner the next night, etc. They're in a hurry. That's a sign that something else is going on, because that's not natural.
What about when friends become frenemies? Because sometimes through the process of us changing,
Yes.
we might inspire that envy.
Yes, like your status changes. We've all had to deal with that. I've had to deal with that as well. You have success, and you came from a background where you weren't so successful, and your friends are still there, and they envy you, and they're not very nice to you. And it's not a good quality. And I understand the quality. I understand where it comes from, and I wrote about it in Human Nature, where we're all aware of the what we call Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude means you take pleasure in other people's pain. So you hear a friend didn't get the job that they wanted to get, and you go, "Oh, I'm sorry," but deep down inside, you're kind of happy. We all go through that, right? The opposite is Mitfreude. It's an expression that Nietzsche coined, which means you feel joy for other people. I like to try and cultivate some of the higher qualities in life. So if something good happens to somebody, my first thing is I might feel a twinge of envy, but then I go, it's great for them.
So I didn't actually watch this entire video, by the way, before I played it. But that's exactly how I deal with envy too. That's how I deal with it too. I'm like, damn, like, at first I'm like, this bald-headed hoe, I hate her stupid ass. And then underneath I'm like, nah, she's actually really successful and pretty. And she got money, right? Those are great things. I want to be that too. Let me level up. That's how I sometimes work it through in my mind. You should recognize jealousy and envy as a negative emotion. You shouldn't just feel it and fester in it. That's the problem. A lot of times that people feel envy and hatred for other, or jealousy, right? Or the comparison is stealing their joy. When they can really just be like, you know what? I love that for her. Maybe one day I can accomplish that too by doing such and such and such, right? We saw earlier in the conversation about envy that it can motivate you. It can motivate you to do well. It can motivate you to take a set of steps to accomplish what you think that person did to accomplish success, right? This is where sometimes people fail though, right? They might think, you know what, that person slept their way to the top. Let me go sleep my way to the top too. They do all that laying on their back and they don't go nowhere. In light of recent discoveries in Hollywood, that's actually kind of sad, because in some ways that is actually what some people feel. Right? They might have thought, you know what, I do all this, I'm going to be successful. Imagine not making it after that. Imagine, sort of laying yourself bare in that way and you still don't go anywhere. Like, that's crazy. I would be crazy upset. But let's continue. There's only a few minutes left in this.
Actually very happy. I'm excited. I share their joy in what has happened, right? But it's not natural. So when somebody that you know and you've known for a long time has success in life, your first thing is to be, they didn't deserve it. They kind of cheated their way to it. Okay, as we talked about in the very beginning, you confront that ugly emotion yourself and you go, that's not who I want to be. And you go, I'm going to make myself feel the opposite. I'm going to make myself feel happy for their success. It's not natural, and most people don't go through that. And I know personally from people I knew before I had any success in life, they're the ones that give me the fewest amount of compliments for my books. They never read my books in the first place. They're very spare with what they say. They've got a pinched look on their face. Whereas people I've never met before in my life give me all kinds of compliments.
Why is that?
Because they're envious. They're upset.
Yep. They want your results. Oh, sorry guys, that stopped very quickly. But that's literally what it comes down to, right? Sometimes, and he's speaking from a standpoint of success, right? Where he was just a regular, average-looking guy, right? Vic said, "Who's gonna want that man? Look at him, trying to like roast him down." And I bet you that people that he knows that he grew up around, they probably look at him like, "Yeah, look at this ugly ass nigga." Right, and I'm not trying to say he's ugly, but I'm just saying they might look at him like, look at this ugly ass nigga. He really has the ability to become an author, make all this money. People want to hear him talk. Young people want to hear him talk on the internet. He's over here doing interviews. Who the hell is he? He's just an ugly old bandit. Don't nobody want him. If they want him, it's gonna be because of their money. Right? He probably hears the same things. Because a lot of the times, and especially if you're going up and people aren't going up with you, a lot of times they're going to be like, damn, who does she think she think her cheeks don't stink? Right? She thinks that she smells better than all of us. She thinks she smells like roses and flowers and candy when she poops. Right? Subconsciously, they might be thinking that. All right, so I liked his message there because I thought he really described it. Yeah, that's why my mindset got better. I don't tonight. Don't. Sorry, I can't make out what you're writing. I think maybe it got all mashed together, but it literally is something you have to catch. You can't just fester in it, right? You have to say, "Oh, damn, I'm really hating on this woman because she got things that I want. Why don't I just try to accomplish that myself? Why am I hating on this beautiful, gorgeous, lovely family?" I sometimes I catch myself mid envious thought. And I'll be like, I'm just hating for real because she's gorgeous. Her man is gorgeous. Her kids are gorgeous. Her money, her success, that's amazing, beautiful, lovely, gorgeous. And I have to catch myself. It will feel unnatural for a second. But I catch myself and I'm like, okay, that was literally just me being a hater at this point, right? There was no merit behind that. They weren't like a crappy person. They treated me just fine. But something internally was just unsatisfied with what I had to offer. And I just wanted what they had instead of me going after what they had. I let myself feel negatively about somebody who did nothing to me. Right? You do sort of got to talk yourself off a ledge. Because it could be easy to fester in those emotions. I've done it. I've had to catch myself. I still, like I said, it's an everyday process. I still have to catch myself. All right. So now I'm going to bore you guys with a scholar. Okay. He's a philosopher. His name was Friedrich Nietzsche. Sorry. I want to put it on the presentation because I want you guys to see the spelling of his name in case you're interested in ever going back and learning about this. But his name is Friedrich Nietzsche. Or whatever the hell you want to call it. All right. So let's see what he had to say about this topic, because he actually studied and looked up envy. Not looked up. He studied and like really intellectually looked at all the sides of envy. All right, so I know it's late, but thank you guys for hanging in there with me. Okay, thank you guys for enjoying the show. Oh, I missed something fun. Okay. But let's get into
it. In dark, honest moments, we are liable to recognize with considerable agony that there is so much missing from our lives. We've been unable to get quite the career we wanted. Our partners may leave us largely unfulfilled. We may have made some catastrophic mistakes that can never be corrected. Our appearance might be shameful and in decline. And there is, correspondingly, so much that we envy. No philosopher has ever taken envy more seriously.
So Lauren says, yeah, that's why my mindset got better, because I internalized my feelings instead of projecting. I just realized I shouldn't push myself down. I didn't hate on the person though. And it doesn't ever have to get as far as hating, right? But sometimes your first thought is to, she said, my toddler pushed the send button in his sleep before I was ready. Oh, okay. That's all right. But sometimes, in our minds, we're working through this. We're literally thinking like, damn, they got the house, the car, baby, and they got a master's, right? You're not thinking about the sleepless nights, maybe even the depression that this person could have got in trying to achieve whatever you believe to be perfect. Right? That's why it's important to be internalize these feelings and really understand where you're coming from, right? Because like he said, sometimes this stuff is automatic, it's subconscious, you're not even trying to do it, right? You're just inadvertently looking around, looking at your little measly surroundings and thinking, Jesus Christ, I was just over at Rosie's house. Can y'all believe she has a butler? She has a butler, a BMW, a nanny, whatever it is. It can become so innate and automatic in us. So it's really important for us to check that, right? But if we're not aware, we're not going to check it. If we just think, oh, well, whatever, it's envy. This is how I feel right now. Or you try to soothe yourself by attempting to hurt another person. That's trash too. That's not going to leave you fulfilled either. I personally don't think that when people enact evil things on other people because of envy or jealousy, I don't believe those feelings, I don't believe it subsides. The discomfort and pain that you get from somebody, it doesn't just go away. Right? It doesn't just disappear. You eventually start to feel that again. And it'll rise to the surface, maybe on a different day. Maybe even a different week, month, right? A year might go by, but it'll come back. That's the thing about burying your head in the sand, right? Unless you deal with what's causing it, it's going to resurface.
Than Friedrich Nietzsche. The 19th century German philosopher described it as the most important emotion at work in individual and collective life. In his writings, he referred to it with a slightly unusual word, the French term ressentiment, which places emphasis on the humiliation we experience in the face of what we desire but cannot have. In Nietzsche's book on the genealogy of morality,
What's going on, Jer Perrier? He says, Flora, say hi to yours truly. Are you okay? Is your belly aching? Usually when toddlers come in places screaming for attention and for a hello, it might be a need that's not being met. Are you okay? I would like to offer up the link in case you need therapeutic services. I'm not a therapist, but I can provide you with therapeutic services. I can help you ease the discomfort that you feel. Just let me know. He says, my belly is full. I ate her. I mean, okay, you're having a fun evening. Let's continue with the show because I think, what's his name? Friedrich Nietzsche. He actually talks about a greater societal issue that comes from envy, which I found really interesting. So let's continue.
Published in 1887, the philosopher presents us with a groundbreaking diagnosis of envy. He opens with a speculative history of how our ideas of good and evil developed, and the crucial role of envy therein. In ancient times, Nietzsche argued what counted as negative or positive was defined in a rather direct and simple way by the powerful. Those who held military, financial, and political authority got to decide what sort of actions and behaviors would be thought admirable. Because of the aristocrats' attachments and tastes, good came to be synonymous with aristocratic values like winning, making money, being confidently sexual, knowing a lot, and securing fame. Assured of their own virtue, the powerful in ancient times slept soundly. But the aristocracy's reign did not go unchallenged. There were too many weak, powerless, and downtrodden people at large, a mass of men and women who Nietzsche alternately called the slaves, the plebeians, or simply the herd. These people increasingly wanted to avenge themselves against the powerful. At the same time, they lacked any practical means of doing so, having no money or political leverage. Then they hit on an idea of genius. They would fight back against the rich and the strong with the weapon of guilt. They couldn't attack the powerful physically, but they could leave them unable to sleep well at night. They would ruin them via their consciences. A central weapon in this revenge attack was, for Nietzsche, the ideology we know today.
So let me just say this, right? Very controversial theory. Very, very controversial theory. I think, one, because it implies that rich people set the standard, and the reason why poor people hate rich people is because they can't have what they have, and it just like all of that. I think that capitalistic perspective of it, that sort of monarch type of belief system is very antiquated, right? Obviously, that's why the British ran over here and stole these Indians' land, these Native Americans' land, right? Because they were poor and destitute out there, and they sought more, right? If you weren't of a wealthy family, you had nothing, and they didn't agree with that, right? But the next part of this attacks religion as well. So just wanted to give a disclaimer as well, and also wanted to stop and give you guys, like, just a second to consume what it is that he was saying in that. All right. So I'm going to rewind it back just maybe a minute or so you can just catch what's leading up to the religion aspect of this conversation again. All right. So basically, all the people who are on opposite end of the rich are this herd, right? We're the fish in the pond, the plebeians, the slaves. And notice there ain't no black people in there. So when they're talking about slaves, they're talking about like y'all are just there to serve them. The underclass of the British are just there as service people, right? They can never be in the higher ranks. If their mom was born a maid or housekeeper, they're going to be a housekeeper too. They're going to grow up and be a housekeeper. Very, very lack of social mobility. So that's where that idea of like the envy comes from. Now that I can't necessarily, I do think it's incredibly capitalistic. And I think that if resources were just available to everybody, nobody would be at the top or the bottom, because we would all just have the resources we need. Like, for example, if housing was accessible to everybody, there's no need for somebody to look down on a homeless person, or for a homeless person to want to rob somebody, because they have a home. They have what they need. Lana Love says, I don't think that most poor people hate rich people. Some rich people are mean and have low moral character. Yeah, exactly. And again, that's why I said I think this is a cop-out of wealthy people. This is a way where they classify what's good and bad. And wealthy people, the people with the power, always try to control the message, the reality, instead of letting history speak for itself. They always got to get there with a little pen and cross out certain things to appear better. And I think rich people do that, right? They've had the power to control the narrative for such a long time. And so that's how they'll sort of paint people out to be. I think that's no different than this theory here. But he's going to talk a little bit about religion as well. And I want you guys, because I can't disagree with everything he says, but I want you guys to really pay attention to what he's saying about the Christian aspect of it.
Increasingly wanted to avenge themselves against the powerful. At the same time, they lacked any practical means of doing so, having no money or political leverage. Then they hit on an idea of genius. They would fight back against the rich and the strong with the weapon of guilt. They couldn't attack the powerful physically, but they could leave them unable to sleep well at night. They would ruin them via their consciences. A central weapon in this revenge attack was, for Nietzsche, the ideology we know.
And if we think about today, right, a way that you could even try to apply this today is say, oh, the poor are always trying to demonize the rich. They use social media, the internet, news anchormen and stuff like that. Like, for example, they want you to hate Trump. NBC, CNN, all them channels are going to run anti-Trump campaigns all day, every day for 6 months. That's how they do it. They know how to sort of, in some ways, sway how people feel about, in this theory, wealthy people's morals and things like that. It's a way of attacking who they are. Now, again, like Lana said here, rich people aren't of high moral character a lot of the times, right? Especially when we go behind the curtain. Nike sweatshops and all those things that we hear, these massage parties, like, it's not always what it appears to be. So in some ways, I can totally understand it, but this is the part of the theory that I don't necessarily agree with. Now, the next part we're going to learn about really quickly is how he applies Christianity to this as well. Okay, so this guy, Friedrich, is he's a wild boy. That's all I'm going to say. His theories are, I think, extremely controversial. And again, people with money get to shape the narrative. So let's continue.
Today as Christianity. Christianity was, for the philosopher, a brilliant, devilish instrument of revenge, dreamt up by the weak to make the strong feel guilty for their advantages. It was Christianity's strategy to relabel as bad everything once associated with aristocratic values, and to anoint with the term good everything with which the herd was identified. So, in the new Christian moral scheme, having no money was relabeled noble poverty. Having no education was praised as sincerity. Lacking sex was hailed as chastity. And, as Nietzsche put it, not being able to take revenge turned into forgiveness. Envious for what they couldn't have, Christians made the powerful feel untenably guilty and insisted that the kingdom of God belonged to the weak, the meek, the chaste, the poor, and the persecuted. Nietzsche almost admired the audacity of this move, but at the same time he held it to be responsible for an appalling bad faith and the degradation of European civilization. In a cantankerous tone, he wrote that the man of ressentiment is neither upright nor naive, nor honest and straight with himself. His soul squints, his mind loves dark corners, secret paths, and back doors. For Nietzsche, the psychological health of a person or society depends on being able to resist denigrating what one wants but can't have. It involves resisting the urge to deny the gaps in one's life for the sake of inner convenience. It is for Nietzsche always better to say what one wishes to be and have rather than to twist one's entire personality to avoid discomfort. We must.
So here's what I'll say, right? The values that he listed, people in power push Christianity, though. Right. I will say, though, like when people were enslaved and stuff like that, it was Catholicism. Now, once it was already here and established and things like that, Christianity was also a basis of it. But slavery and all that stuff, that was actually, a lot of it was done through Catholicism. But yes, people in power push Christianity. It should also just show to you how simple-minded this man was, right? Because his theory in no way, shape, or form is facts. But I can absolutely take certain things out of it and say, hey, that makes some sense, right? For example, how religion promotes people to deny real things that we learn, to deny science, to deny technology or other things, other things that call them worldly. Right? I don't know about chastity, because basically he's saying the church believed in chastity because them ugly ass niggas wasn't getting no pussy, they wasn't getting no play anyways. Right? And they're just chaste because they can't get nobody. right? So in some ways, like, in some ways he was trying to roast, right? Because what he was saying is, hey, these values were all developed in inadequacies of other people, right? They believed in being chaste because they had no access to women, right? Closest they could find was a cousin, a distant cousin. They had no access to women, so of course they're going to promote chastity. They don't have no money, so of course they're going to see the bright side and say, be reverent, or whatever the other part that he was saying. Lana Love said, I agree with that. I'm just saying, they took a belief and twisted it. They absolutely did. They absolutely did. And even he is taking it in some ways too, because he consumed Christianity enough to know how some Christians believe, right? To believe in all these things, to agree, to enjoy mediocrity, right? To not seek out wealth and things like that, because most people are going to be poor, right? And either way, you don't have a way to make all that money anyway, so better just believe that you should appreciate what the little crumbs that you've gotten out of life when you could have had so much more. But again, even his perspective is perverting it as well. But let's continue.
Philosopher, be strong enough to face and stay honest about our own misfortunes. Though Nietzsche spent a lot of time studying Christianity, he understood that the desire to redraw values on the basis of repressed envy was a maneuver that could appear under many guises. His attacks may seem harsh and potentially even an absurd defense of a boorish upper-class set of values. But it's important to remember that Nietzsche himself was no aristocrat. He lacked money, sex, an audience, friends, but he was committed to honesty with himself, and so didn't shirk away from admitting that in certain moods he would dearly have wished to be more heroic, fulfilled, and brave, yet lacked the talent to be so. Nietzsche's message is that one of the most mature acts we are capable of is to admit to the strength of our envy and the scale of our regret, without falling prey to defensive philosophies of denial, in all their many and ingenious disguises.
Our Western philosophy.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, I thought he broke that down pretty well. Again, this is just a theory. My favorite thing about theories is you don't have to believe they're true, right? They're not 100% fact-based. They're based off people's observations. Maybe tested experiments and theories make them become make a belief seem more solid and things like that. But I thought that one was pretty interesting. A lot of said so he was projecting. I think in some ways he was. But I think the part that caught people off guard was that he was sort of bougie, like in some ways. He was sort of like, the reason why we act like we're satisfied with a meek life because we can't get no money anyways. We're going to be broke regardless, right? I know what that means. I know I'm not going to have no money in my account by tomorrow. I'm still going to have $3.99 to my name. But because I know it and I feel it, I can describe it about everybody else. So I think he did a pretty interesting job talking about envy again. You guys know me. I like to break these conversations down and make it super interesting and easy to understand. I don't like to have conversations based off of like drama or putting up people's businesses. Like, I don't like that. I prefer to come here and have the talks with you guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys want to discuss and join the show, it's your final call. But I assume people prefer to just be in the clouds or jump out of the clouds and troll every now and then because they don't got shit to say. But I am going to drop the link one last time to see if anybody's interested. Again, it's Monday night at 1:11 a.m. So I know it's late and people probably aren't doing anything, But if you guys are interested in having the conversation, chit-chatting, the link is right down there. If not, I'm going to go at the 2-hour mark, which we're about 5 minutes exactly away from. So if anybody hits the link in the next 5 minutes, we'll have the conversation. But otherwise, I'm going to send you guys off with my music, okay?
Bella's got power, Florabella stands tall. Every drip, every drop, watch the haters fall. Channel sharp as thorns, ain't taking no mess. Scroll through her feet, feel that queen's finesse. Vines tangle tight, but Flora breaks free. Roots so deep, can't mess with her tree. From the mud she rises, roses from the dirt. Every comment section she lays down hurt. Flora's anthem, blooming under pressure. Resilient, resolving, no lesser. Florabella's reign strong and relentless. Beauty in battle, queen sure defenseless. From the garden green to the concrete wall, Florabella, unstoppable nature's child. Leaves whisper secrets, she's the loudest shout. From the channel buzzing, she never backs out. Seed of strength, through seasons she grows. In the face of doubt, her spirit glows. Cameras ain't a limit, she branches out. Thorns in her crown, she wears it no doubt. Flora's anthem, blooming under pressure. Resilient, resolving, no lesser. Florabella's reign strong and relentless. Beauty in battle, queen sure defenseless. Flora's anthem, blooming under pressure. Resilient, resolving, no lesser. Florabella's reign strong and relentless. Beauty in battle, queen sure defenseless.
So again, kind of late, so I'm assuming that I'm sending you guys off to bed. But again, got about 2.5 minutes. The link's gonna stay open, and then I'm gonna send you guys off to bed. You don't gotta go home, but you gotta get the hell out of here. Okay? So in 2 minutes, I'll be ending the show if nobody joins. But otherwise, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you, Lana Love. No Chaser comes in late, talk about I like the song. Thank you. Shout out to everybody who was here chatting. Even if you came up here to troll and be dusty, drop a little dust in the chat. Thank you guys all for being here for the conversation. I try to do some late shows because I like being up late, but then I forget it's during the week, and that's usually going to wake late. So, anyways, I'm probably going to play some Sims. I might go live through my vertical in a little while. But otherwise, I'm probably going to close the show out after I replay this song. And I will see you guys in the next one. So enjoy the music, alright?
Florabella on my screen. Her smile, it shines so bright. She's a queen with every scene. In the morning or the night, recipes and good vibes flow. Every video a gem. Her confidence, it grows and grows. We're inspired like her friends. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power. Spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows. She's where we all belong. With every like and every share, we feel her energy. No storm too strong, she can't bear. She's setting us all free. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power. Spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Recipes and good vibes flow. Every video a gem. confidence, it grows and grows. We're inspired like her friends. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows. She's where we all belong. Every share, we feel her energy. No storm too strong, she can't bear. She's setting us all free. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows. She's where we all belong.
All right, everybody. I will see you guys on the next one. If you guys can hit the like button. Again, if I'm up still in like an hour, I'm going to take my raggedy butt up here and play some Sims with you guys. But otherwise, have a great night and thanks for coming to my show. Bye-bye.